What? Yeah, I'm about to do my live now. Yes, I am. I'm about to do my live and then I'm done. What do you need?
Who was your live with?
Lady Tami, I told you.
The one that you were talking to earlier?
No, I wasn't talking to her earlier. Meetings. Okay, Kavanaugh.
And we still didn't post our videos today.
I know. Just give me a second.
And I still have to do my video.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Cool. All right, now let me stream this into Facebook.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. I just got to remind myself how to do it. But you can do it. And then the good part is then it'll be saved like on Facebook Live, and then you could also record it as an actual call for you to keep. How many people do you have registered for Sunday?
8 so far.
And I need to come with magazines.
Yes.
Okay.
Some that you don't, like a variety, not like people, but like lifestyle kind of magazines,
Okay.
and ones that you don't mind cutting up.
20 minutes. Okay. Got it. All right, under meeting. Allow. Open meeting. Okay, under meeting. Is it? All right, cool. So then now I should be able to find it in here. All right, there we go. What? All right, so we'll go live now. Should be live now. We'll go live in a second. Okay. How was your new year?
Great. I went to the beach.
Oh, that's good. Which one?
We have a place in Dewey.
Okay, we went to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, so you were at the beach too.
Yeah, and it actually, luckily, the last few days we were there, the weather actually cooperated, which is good.
It went from like 19 degrees to like 64 degrees.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yep. And then it was warmer the last 2 days, but it also had this crazy, like spooky looking fog.
Yeah, we had that too.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a timeshare there. So either for Kavanaugh's birthday, which is sometimes the week of Thanksgiving, we'll either go then or we'll go for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, cool. All right, so I think we're going live now. Let's check.
I just got a message that we are.
All right. Well, hello, Facebook. This is round 2 for today, and I'm so excited to have Tami. All right. Well, hello, joining us. This is round 2 for today, and I'm so excited to have Tami.
I hear an echo. Do you?
All right, there we go. I think I fixed it. So I'm here to have excited to have Tami. So Tami, I think I had my first session with you, I want to say in 2020, before the world completely changed. And then again, throughout the change that has been the pandemic. And so I know we're at the top of the year, and Tami has some great vivid vision events coming up that I wanted to make sure you guys were plugged into. And this is always a really reflective time, I think, for all of us. We look back at what we maybe didn't achieve the previous year, what we did, and kind of really positioning ourselves for the new year. And the idea of like vision boards and vision planning was something that I was new to. And the first time that I actually did, I don't think I've ever shared this story with you, Tami. The first time I actually did it was at your Vivid Vision event. And then I was so moved by that idea of just immersing yourself in what you wanted your life to look like. And you had us do that exercise of really thinking about 5 and 10 years in the future, what it would look like, not even just on paper, what our goals were, but what it would look and feel like. And that was such a powerful exercise for me that I went home and I shared a kid-friendly version of it with Kavanaugh. And we actually spent time, Kavanaugh, my sister, and my niece, making our vision boards for that year. And that was the year that Kavanaugh on his vision board wrote that he wanted to raise $100,000. And I remember saying like, oh, okay, whatever. Tami said we can dream big. We don't have to think about how we're going to do it, any of those things. So I was like, go ahead, that's fine. And then I remember some things that you said about like always read it and like go back and reread it and say it out loud. And so I was like telling him the same things. And that was the year that he raised $420,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there is extreme power in this when you dedicate yourself to really not just giving yourself the permission to dream, because I think that's where I usually get caught up is like, oh, you can't achieve that big thing, but giving yourself the permission to dream and then really believing in that dream that it will come true and seeing and imagining what that could feel like on a tangible sense of not just checklist goals, but like, what does your day look like? How do you want to feel when you wake up? And I think for me, that's the most powerful thing that I get out of our sessions together is getting that permission to, one, say yes to me, and then being okay with daring to dream. So with that being said, I don't want to take Tami's spotlight because she has some great things to share with us. But Tami, if you could just introduce yourself to my Facebook audience, and then I'll let you jump into the 3 things you want to share with us.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Llacey. You know how much I believe in you and Kavanaugh and Little Warrior and all the wonderful things that you're doing in the world. You're a light and you're an inspiration, and I'm so happy to support your journey. And my name is Tami Mensh. I'm a transformative life and spiritual business coach. And I have my master's in transpersonal psychology. And that is the psychology that goes beyond the mind into the soul, the spirit, into the farthest reaches of our human potential, creativity, imagination, intuition, movement, plant medicine, and animal communication, all of these places that we confine ourselves to our thinking minds. And there's so much more that we have the capacity to have access to. And that is the territory in which that I go with my clients. And so that it also informs my coaching. So the coaching is thought-provoking, but it's also about embodiment and creating what we want in that moment using all these different modalities. So I love what you said about daring to dream and to free your mind, of all of these limitations. That's super, super important. And that's where it all begins. And that's, like you said, that's where people get really stuck.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I know, like, it's so funny because you were talking about 2020 and people are like, how can I vision the future when this pandemic and it's all crashing? I can't figure out tomorrow,
Right.
And so it is important to, how am I going to be, in uncertainty, and to still be able to take a higher perspective on the whole thing and not get lost in the weeds, And I know that, and I believe that doing this vision work now, after we've gone through the whole, all the changes in what the pandemic brought, is even more important now, because I believe that it's really, in my clients, has changed how our values have changed now. How do I want to work now? How do I want to live now? How do I want to love now? Who do I want to spend my time with now? And those things have become a lot more clear during these last few years that we've been. So to me, this is a beautiful, beautiful time being, after the winter solstice, where the light is returning, and we're at the top of the cusp of the year, and all of this astrological cosmos, all the planets are very, very supportive to us right now. Whether you believe that or not, it is part of the energetics, and what is trying to come through is so important, and everyone's gifts are needed so much right now. So that's just kind of the overview of visioning, and calling upon our visionary, and why that's so important,
Cool. I appreciate that. I mean, I know, before we jump into your 3 things you're going to share with us, I know like every single session that I had, like personally one-on-one with Tami, I would go in and I would say, she would ask me the same question every time. What's your objective in this hour? And I'm like, I don't know. I showed up, like, I'm here. And it would always be something along the same lines of like, I feel so scattered. I feel so uncertain. I feel out of control. And I can't tell you and we wouldn't even take the whole hour. Sometime within like 35 to 40 minutes, there'd be like a shift where she would take all those pieces that I was throwing out that to me were like not connected all over the place, and would connect them so beautifully. And I think the part that a lot of us, well, I speak for myself, I think for the part where I get hung up on vision is that in my mind, it feels all disconnected. Like, how can I do this? And I do that, and I do that. And I think one of the beautiful things that you'll do, and I'm sure you'll share in the 3 things you'll teach us, is finding that unifying piece that connects it all together, so that you can authentically show up as yourself in all these different capacities and gifts that you might have. So a lot of times in the business world, I think we're always taught to simplify things, like, oh, you can only achieve this one goal. Like, you need to niche it down. And I think what I love about the perspective you bring is it's like, yeah, you can have a focus, but you can also have a larger tapestry of things that you want to achieve, and it's okay.
Yeah. It's really an interesting point that you brought up about that question, what is it that you would like to get out of this time together? And even trying to answer that question becomes very clarifying. Like, really, what is it? What is it? And so that begins, the clarification process is, what do I really want to know? And all these things, what matters most to me right now? And so if we can get into that, then you're really getting into the connection, between it all. And I do believe that everyone needs a coach. Coaches need coaches. Everyone needs coaches to help us have that perspective, that mirror, that reflection that we get lost and we cannot see for ourselves. So it's important. There are all these different threads, and then there is a way to put together in a really special, unique blend of everything you love, and to create something really unique and magical about that. That's what I love to do. That's what really lights me up big time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what are those 3 things you want to share with us in terms of vision planning and vivid visions for 2023?
Okay. Well, number 1 is get out of your thinking mind to do your visioning. Give yourself some space to really drop in and to and you said this, Llacey, to remove all of the limitations. We stop ourselves before we even get started. And we will say, oh, how am I going to do that?
Right.
And a lot of CEOs, in business, and CEOs of your life, you're the CEO of your own life, is like, how am I going to do it? It's impossible. How would I do that? And it stops the creative process right there. So it's about creating that space and opening all of your senses. What is really getting you charged? What is making you feel emotional? What is setting you off and making you feel a little bit excited, a little bit scared? That's where you want to go with your vision. So there's a cute story about Jean Houston. She's a thought leader, and she grew up in Princeton, and where Einstein, this was back when Einstein was alive, and Einstein is down the street. And the children in the school said, the teacher said, we're going to go down the street and we're going to visit Mr. Einstein. And this is a true story as she tells it. So the students, the class, elementary school, went down the street. They go to Einstein's house, and this one kid says, Mr. Einstein, how do we get as smart as you? And he said, read lots of fairy tales. Read lots of fairy tales. And the other kid, another smart alecky kid in the class, says, Mr. Einstein, how do we become smarter than you? And Einstein says, read even more fairy tales. Wow. So number one thing is to really embrace that childlike thinking and to believe that anything is possible. Go up high on the balcony into the stars and look down to see the big, big perspective of everything that is possible and everything that you would really, really want in your life, and using all these different modalities, to dream into your vision. So number one is get out of the thinking mind. You are not going to think your way into your vision. Your vision is led by your heart and your soul, not your mind. So the first step is to just unlock that creativity and dare to even dream without putting the brakes on yourself first. And we don't even realize when we're doing that. So that's number one. Number one. Any questions about that?
No, I was trying to sit here and quickly Google. I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a book. I can see the cover in my mind, but similar to what you were saying with Einstein saying to read fairy tales, there was a book, and I like the Malcolm Gladwell authors, where they take research and really distill it down into these eye-opening insights. And he shared something along the lines of, he had studied like Nobel Peace Prize winners in physics and chemistry. And what he found was that the commonality they had nothing to do with science, but they all had an artistic interest, whether they were painters or photographers or journalists. And so it was the idea that if you really want to nurture that analytical part of yourself, you really do have to tap into that creative side that allows you to dream.
Exactly. And Einstein was a perfect, example of that. And and you don't have to be artistic in order to do that. It's just about letting go of all of that in order to dream big. Let it just flow out into the earth, into the ocean, and it'll make more space in you to create something new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm clear on number one is to kind of get out of your mind and get into that space where you can feel your way into your vision. What's number two?
Yes. Number two is get as vivid in detail as you can. So it's not just here's another quick little story. There are 3 bricklayers on a street, and they're working and they're laying bricks. And the first person comes up and says to the first bricklayer, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm laying bricks, right? And okay, cool, and walks on and sees the next bricklayer, and the next bricklayer, he says, what are you doing? And the next bricklayer says, oh, I'm laying bricks to build a wall. Oh, okay, cool. And then the person gets to the third bricklayer and says, what are you doing? And the third bricklayer says, I am building a gorgeous cathedral to honor the glory of God, right? So which which bricklayer do you think is more in tune,
Right.
in touch with their vision? It's
Yeah.
the one who has the vivid detail. It's the golden arches and the soaring ceilings and the beautiful carpet and the twinkling lighting. You know, it's so the more vision and detail that you can bring to your vision, the more you can taste it, see it, smell it, feel it, you know, the more that it'll take root and that it will come alive.
Yeah.
So that is another, you know, another tip. And one of the ways, so it's about expanding the vision and also creating more possibilities from the vision. And you and I, Llacey, have done this where we've done a mind map, which is a visual interpretation, a visual map of your thoughts. And so you start with one, and then you stem out to another one, another one, and it grows and it blossoms and it mushrooms, and more ideas are created, and you can see them. And so the second step is to really get as vivid as possible with your vision.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I don't know why now all the science things are running to my mind, but I know there's a Harvard study with pianists, and they found that if the piano player envisioned playing versus actually playing, their brain was stimulated the exact same way.
Exactly.
So there was no way for our brain really to differentiate between what was tangibly real and what was imagined in vivid detail.
Exactly. Like by putting words to it, like even the word freedom, when you say freedom, you can almost feel freedom in your body. Your brain cannot distinguish between the feeling of freedom and the word freedom. It's the same. So it's the same. It's just another way of saying exactly what you said. And we know that from quantum physics that we are creating our own reality every moment. And that is we're changing the molecules and creating things. By the way, it used to be, oh, you have to see it in order to believe it. Now you have to believe it in order to see it.
Yeah.
So that's where that whole vivid detail, that really comes into play with moving those molecules of reality and to create what you want.
Exactly. That's awesome. And then before you share number 3, I'll just share that I know when from a financial sense, we are always told as business owners, like, what's your revenue goal? And so I was telling Kristen, one of my friends recently, I was like, we always throw these numbers out, like 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. And it all sounds nice, but you could very easily make that money and still not really have any purpose behind it or any fulfillment other than just checking it off. And so I was telling her, I said, that's why I realized for me, I want to reframe that idea of, yes, there's going to be a monetary goal, but I want to then quantify what that goal means in terms of the impact it has in my life. So we call them purpose funds. So what is the purpose of that money that I'm creating? And like you gave in the story with the bricklayer, once I'm clear on the purpose that money has, now it gives me much more passion and excitement to go after that money because I already know it's accounted for. I know that money is going to equate to me, Kavanaugh and Warrior, going on a trip, or us getting our dream car, or whatever those things may be, because I've now assigned something to that money, and then I've then envisioned it and like you said, in vivid detail. I see the leather seats of the Tesla, I see the car, I see the doors going up, I see Kavanaugh's excitement getting that car, and those things then now gives me the momentum and the motivation to then go through what I need to go through to make that happen.
Right. And in when you're really visioning, you're not envisioning like specific numbers of money. It's what will that do for me? How will that change my life? How will that give me more, how will that help me increase my impact or help others and the ones that I love or serve, the world. So that's where the real, like it's purpose driven, from purpose from the money is much more creative in terms of bringing and manifesting than just to say, oh, I want to have $1 million. That's not going to get you there in terms of really making it come from the heart and the soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah.
So then what's the third thing that we should be thinking about as we craft our vision?
The third thing is to put it into form. Yes, we could talk about it, and words are great, but to really put your vision, to anchor it in a way that you can look at it all the time, you can be with it, you can be inspired by it. For example, in some of the workshops that I do, we put our vivid vision into a document, a vivid vision document. And this is a document that I wrote 3 years ago. And and I do this every 3 years. And it's now is the time where I'm doing the next one. And so I'm putting this into form. I wrote it all in beautiful detail. And that is it's amazing to see where you were and what you were thinking about, and amazing to see down the road how much of it has really come true. So putting it into form, into either a document or a vision board, for example. This is the vision board that I did last year, right? And putting it into images and to a feeling. What is the feeling that I get? What are the things that are the biggest things that are popping out to me? What surprised me that I didn't know about that came out in my vision board is a big way to really find and have those purposes revealed to you through symbol and through images that come from you know from your heart, you know. So it's different. And I was going to say something more about the vivid vision document, but I don't remember what I was going to say.
When it comes to you, just let me know.
Yeah. I remember now. I remember now. And adding on to the putting it into form is share it. Share it with everyone. I put the vision document on my website. Because when I'm becoming client, you know, working with someone or collaborating with someone, this is my vision. It can become their vision too. They understand it. The individual visions become collective visions, and then they become amplified. So shout it from the rooftops, because Llacey, I remember you said when we were in the vision group, oh, I would love, Kavanaugh would love to be on Ellen. And someone said, oh, I know Ellen. Right. So it's really important to share it and to own it, you know, not to hide it and to think about it and know this is my little secret thing, but no, this is what I'm all about, and come with me, be a part of it. So that's the final piece, is to put it into form and really share it with the world.
Yeah, and that's such a great kind of like shifting point too, because I see whether it's the memes or the posts or kind of other people say like, protect your vision because people will like hinder you or sabotage it. But I think to your point, that's such a powerful thing that I think we lose track of is, yes, you will always have those naysayers and those haters. They'll always be there, whether you share your vision or not. But I think the more beautiful part of this is you don't realize the resources you have around you unless you do share that vision or you share what you're trying to achieve. And I'm starting to realize that with these 3 things Tuesdays and 3 things Thursdays, of like, wow, I know some really cool people. Some of them like you, I've worked with personally, and I've been able to have breakthroughs because of it. Others that I'm like, you guys are doing really cool stuff that if I wasn't as avid of a follower of their content on Facebook, I would have no idea. And so it just goes to show how much in this internet-based world we're so connected, but we're also so very isolated too.
Yeah. It is. It's as the CEO, when CEOs craft their vivid vision document, if they are hiring someone, they will make sure that the person that's hiring is along with this vision.
True.
And that the people that they are teaming up with, you know, their suppliers or whatever, know that I'm going here. Are you coming with me? And the team can follow and be more autonomous with their decisions that they're making. So your vision is something that helps you to, in each and every moment of each and every day, make small steps that build faith and trust that help you to reach your guiding light.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful thing too, because I didn't realize it until you just said it just now. But I did a similar document for Cool and Dope that I actually shared with our PR team. And that was the year we got the most amount of placements, because I think not only was I clear on what the vision was for that year, but then she was able to see the vision and then communicate it in a way that made sense to other people that then wanted to feed into that and support that vision as well. So it's such a powerful piece that I think we're just clearly overlooking and not using in the way that we should be using it.
Exactly. And then it can become our collective vision, and we can move humanity forward together.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just have you recap the three, and then I want you to share a little bit about the upcoming Vivid Vision events you have coming up.
Sure. Yeah, number one is get out of your thinking mind. Use different modalities to dream into your vision and remove any limitations that you have. To have this childlike thinking is number one. Number two is to get really vivid in detail, and to everything that you can taste, touch, smell, feel, really put it into your vision so that it elicits an emotional response. And really think about all the possibilities. Let it really grow and become really big and filled of all areas of your life. And number three is put it into form. Give it a form, put it into a document or an art piece that can hold the energy of your vision, and that you can share it with the world and share it with everybody that you work with, your clients, your team, your family, your friends. So those are the keys. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. And then let us know, what do you have coming up in terms of those of us, I will be there at your event, but those of us that are looking to really set our intentions for 2023, how can we tap into your brilliance to do that?
Thank you. Well, I work one-on-one with clients all the time. And whenever I meet with a client, we always begin with exponential thinking. What is the impact? What is the potential that we have here? And I always 10x it. Whatever it is, we go, wait, let's go bigger, right? And I do that in one-on-one sessions, and also have a workshop that I take people through, a Vivid Vision workshop that is, you end up with a document like this that you can share. So we go through all of the steps, the creative visualization, the mind mapping, the goal setting, and it comes out into a beautiful document like this that you have for 3 years that you can refer to over and over again and share. And then this Sunday in Rockville, for the local folks, we are having a vision board workshop. And I know a lot of people like to do vision boards, and it's really interesting when you bring in some art therapy, art expression, and coaching into it, because you really can see things that were hidden in your vision board that you couldn't see. And so it's like almost like interpreting a dream.
Wow.
And so you're really able to solidify it and to embody it and walk away with that, not just a cool picture, but something that you really can grow with and dream into, that grows with you.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
exciting.
this Sunday in Rockville at 2:00.
Perfect. Are you still doing any like virtual workshops?
Yeah, I'm a moon circle guide and leader, and so every month I guide moon circles that are based on the astrological placements of the moon and elements in nature and the divine feminine. So that's something that I do every month. And I have all kinds of workshops and one-on-one sessions, and we just go everywhere, wherever it is that you need to go, and we bring in all of these different ways to experience it. So it's the Kaleidoscope. The Kaleidoscope Lounge is my platform, and it's where curious people come for fearless and experiential learning, and that's what we do, one-on-one and in groups.
Yeah, and I can definitely testify, like, she is the truth. So I know I go into sessions with her completely like, and I think I've said more times than not, like, I'm here. That's all I can say.
I don't know. What do I talk about?
That's fine. We can work with that.
I'm like, that's the best. then we really can surprise ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the best.
And I remember doing that mind map and being so excited that I think I still have the picture that I sent it to all these people. And I was like, you don't believe, I know this looks like chaos, but this right here is like clarity. This is the most amount of clarity I've had in a long time. So yeah, no, I appreciate all that you are, Tami, and I appreciate you coming and sharing those 3 things with us. Like she said, she has an event this Sunday, January 8th. So if you are local to the Rockville, Maryland area, definitely come through for the Vivid Vision workshop. Like I said, I did the last in-person one I think you had was 2020 that I went to. And I don't think I would have had such a powerful 2020 had I not been intentional with setting my vision the way that Tami teaches it. So I'm entirely grateful for that. And the 17,000 people we were able to help that year because of it. So if you have the time and space in your calendar, definitely make that a priority. If not, like she said, she does do virtual workshops. So, make sure in the description of this live, I'll have all of her links for you to be able to connect with her and stay up to date on what she has to offer for the rest of the year. But otherwise, Tami, I appreciate you, and I will see you on Sunday.
All right. Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Here's to your visions.
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.